Hey everyone, Alicia here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to my guide. In this one, I'm sharing with you, as requested, my favorite positive podcasts. These are my top 5 go-to podcasts when I'm looking to be uplifted, motivated, and inspired. I hope these do these for you too and benefit you somehow. So let me know down below if you listen to any of these after this video. All right. As you might know, I'm a podcast fiend. In my last video, click here if you want to see, I listed my favorite podcasts of all time, and the list just got longer. For time's sake, we're only focused on 5. There are 3 runner-ups that I'll put in the info box below if you want to check them out too, but there's some reasons why I just didn't love them as much as the ones that I want to vocally share with you in the video. So the first one is the brightest one of all. If I had a podcast, this would be it, because everything is everything about Greg Clunis and his Tiny Leaps, Big Changes podcast. I love how short and sweet his podcasts are, so you can binge on a few at the end of the week. This was basically my poolside palette at the end of summer because I was listening to this literally every Saturday and Sunday, binging it, and I just loved the energy that it gave me. It was kind of like a no-nonsense, motivational pocket speaker. It was everything. And whether he has a guest on or he's talking solo dolo, I just feel like he's so impactful and so succinct. If you're a person that's pursuing a passion project, an entrepreneur, or even just a regular schmegler person going through life and figuring it out, this is the podcast for you because he covers a wide array of different type of topics. Each episode touches on self-awareness, optimism, overcoming fears, nervousness, anxiety, like things you wouldn't even think of would relate to you, but will relate to you some way, somehow, at some point. I absolutely love it. My favorite episode by far is how to unlock your subconscious. He had a guest speaker on there, and I ended up listening to it 3 times because it was that good, and I just feel like every time I listened to it, I got something new out of it. I'll put a snippet of it, link it somehow in the information box if you want to check it out. Let me know. Then we have Earn Your Happy with Lori Harder. I feel like this is like guilty, dark pleasure because I am so not that bubblegum friendly kind of girl. Like, I'm optimistic, but to a point, and this is just next level. I feel like this is a whole vibe. If you listen to the theme song, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I love her co-host and the guests they choose to have on. I feel like it pairs well with her message, and each episode, there's always something to draw from it, even if you're not as energetic as she is. I really love it. I find myself listening to this most when I'm walking to work or on the elliptical. 2 things that I don't really like doing, but I have to do to keep myself healthy and get to work to make money. So this kind of gets my head in the right mental space to be able to do a good workout or to have a good day at work. This is Britt and Tara's The Elevator Podcast. I love the name because the idea is to elevate your mindset and your spirit. This is, out of all the podcasts that I'm sharing with you, the most airy-fairy woo of all, but just bear with me. I'm not into LOA. I used to be heavy into manifestation and visualization and Abraham Hicks and all of that a few years ago. Not anymore. And this is very reminiscent of that. The difference is, I feel like with these girls, I'm listening to them not so much as like a, oh my gosh, this is so impactful and so incredible, but it more so, this is gonna sound weird, but questions how I think now. Because I'm not aligned with that idea of mindfulness, but I'm a mindful person, I can resonate with some of the topics without being so into it. So it's almost like an oxymoron, if you feel me. I like how they speak most of all because it's very yoga on a mountain, zen, yeah, slow, like totally opposite of how I talk, very calming, like everything is working out in its time. You're living your 7th life, and I'm just like, whoa, this is so different. Another spiritual podcast, this one is a religious one. It's called Elevate. This is a Christian podcast where different pastors share stories that tie into parables or different passages from the Bible. It's just so uplifting. It reminds me of being in church and that feeling of like laughing and crying at the same time because the message is just hitting you to your core. So I'm really here for this one. I know this is not going to be for everyone because not everyone's a Christian or religious or cares. So I'm just putting this in there for those of you that do. 5th and final is 10% Happier with Dan Harris. I think I'm saying his name properly. I don't know. Anyways, he's an author of the book by the same title that's a bestseller. I haven't read it yet, but I love his podcast. This podcast is for everyone. It kind of is full circle to the first podcast, Tiny Leaps, Big Changes, because it has the same sentiment where you're trying to do small things each day. You're pursuing things in small steps to attain a happier sense of being. It's not about waking up one day and then getting the life you achieve, or waking up one day and everything being okay, or you just being happy or grateful. It's about the little things each day or each month or sometimes a year that can help you be just that much more happier, because 10% is better than 0%. And I really like that mindset. I feel oftentimes with self-help and that whole realm of self-care and love and awareness of that stream of consciousness, you just feel like it's supposed to be that end-all be-all like way of fixing things. But with this, it's not so much about that, but about exploring the journey in a very scientific and factual way. Even the guests he features on talk about things from nutritional perspectives, from scientific perspectives, from living it. I can't say enough about how this is like the longer version of Tiny Leaps, Big Changes, where it really does seep in. It kind of feels like you're in class sometimes a snooze, I'll keep it 100, but most times when you're listening, it just really does sink in that we're all on a journey. It's all part of a process. You're not going to be positive and happy all the time, but if you can do things to be 10% happier, then you're good. You're on the right track. So those are my 5. I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any to share with me, I'd love to hear your suggestions down below. Last time I did a podcast video, someone shared with me the TEDx talks, which I really love. So keep the suggestions coming. If you listen to any of these, let me know how you like them. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the like button to help my channel grow. And until next time, love and later.